Cool. Thanks a lot for having me here. Thanks for setting this whole event up. I know Anthony and the whole team at ETC Co-op's done the amazing work. I'm going to talk to you today about what the past year and what I hope the next year for ETC looks like. My name is Darcy Reno. I'm the program manager for ETCDEV. Before joining the team, I was a CEO for a software as a service company with 1 million users and the CTO for the largest animation company in Canada. I've been with ETCDEV for about 6 months and having a good time. We've had some big milestones this year. ETC turned 2 years old, which is a big deal when you consider what a tough birth it was. It was a tough birth on the whole community, for everybody involved. It was a community left scrambling to find exchanges, find a name, find a developer pool. Nobody knew if ETC was going to live. And it did live. It's thriving. Today, exchanges and investors love ETC, or they like ETC. We got solid volume, 121 trading pairs, 62 exchanges, just went live on Coinbase, Robinhood recently. It's doing really good. We got a lot of good momentum. Over the past 10 months or so, we've had 2 hard forks, both of them focused on building a sustainable and healthy crypto economy on the platform. The first one was back in December of last year. It was a new monetary policy, which was really designed to put the coin into a deflationary phase in the future and ensure that there's very predictable mining results and mining rewards, so we can ensure that there's long-term support from the mining community. Back in spring, we rolled out we removed something called the difficulty bomb. The difficulty bomb was it was a tool used to force protocol-level changes and roll out new consensus mechanisms on Foundation Ethereum. Things like proof of stake and stuff like that. You know, for ETC, we believe in proof of work for the sustainable or the foreseeable future. So we just thought we'd remove the difficulty bomb once and for all, make our lives a lot easier, so we weren't forking just to keep up with an algorithm. So how does ETCDEV fit into this ecosystem? A lot of people ask me what we do. They don't understand our role. A lot of people think that we actually made Ethereum Classic. People have said that to me at conferences and on social media, and it couldn't be farther from the truth. Ultimately, we're members of the community, like all of you. We're a passionate team of engineers and admin people and managers like me that believe in the fundamental principles of blockchain: immutability, decentralization, stuff like that. And this is who we are. We're 14 people today, fully distributed team, 7 countries, and we're basically building a sustainable business around building open source software. We're attracting top talent from companies like this, and we're currently recruiting. We're looking for Go, JavaScript, Rust developers. So anyone that knows developers looking for roles, remote roles, check out our job board, and if you don't see anything, just reach out. Oh, I've got to keep up. So we've been really busy over the last year. We did a lot of work that went unnoticed for a couple of reasons. A lot of the work that we've done is protocol level improvements, stability, stuff like that, new opcodes. And we weren't very good at telling the world when we would roll out new changes. We just drop new code, new binaries, without notifying the community. This year, we're getting a lot more vocal, and we're also working on more user-facing software. We're working closely with the ETC Cooperative and IOHK in spreading the word, trying to announce releases before we actually go live with them. You can follow us on social media and see all of our announcements for when we're going to release new code. So Emerald Wallet. So Over a year ago, the community needed a wallet, so a number of developers started building one. It wasn't an easy project. Multiple releases, going from alpha all the way to version 1. It took well over a year, but we finally released version 1 a couple months ago. The community feedback has been excellent and very supportive. We think it's a very solid release, and we're really happy to move on to new challenges going forward. The wallet's been downloaded 22,000 times, so people are actually using it. In the last 9 months, we've done over 900 Git commits. Geth has been downloaded 9,000 times. So we've got a lot of users out there, a lot of test and production installs of active software users. And we're getting a lot of great feedback from the community. What else did we do? This year we've rebranded. So we got some new colors and logos. And we officially became a company. Before this, we were just kind of an unofficial team of collaborators. We're based in Zug, Switzerland. That's our office, apparently. If I do a good job up here, the team's going to tell me how to find it. These are our new logos for all of the projects that we currently maintain. And most importantly, we've got a new mascot. It's not that. We didn't like that one. We didn't like the minion either. Ultimately, we liked the green, so we stuck with it. We just made it a little more modern and friendly. So kind of, with regards to serious work that we've been doing, obviously Geth is a large component of what we build. So we've really been focusing on rolling out stability improvements, configuration management, and logging. And all this stuff sounds kind of boring and is pretty transparent to most users. Ultimately, we know that it's really hard to get insights out of Geth. And we wanted to build a dashboard, but we didn't want to build it ourselves. Go back. We wanted to give developers a set of tools for collecting data analytics that they're familiar with. So our mlogs release for Geth allowed for Logstash support, and Logstash works with Elasticsearch and Kibana. So now you can take a typical ELK stack, which most full-stack software developers are familiar with, and start visualizing your Geth, the ETC network. We think that kind of stuff's important as we roll out things like sidechains, software development kit. We think that developers are going to need to have better business intelligence and data intelligence on the applications that they build. So the other thing we've been working on is Sputnik Vm. So Sputnik is an alternative to the Ethereum VM. It works today, it's built in Rust, and it'll continue to be compatible with everything we build in the future. We feel that having another VM is important in reducing our dependence upon Foundation EVM and for enabling new jobs that the existing EVM just can't handle. The biggest challenge that we've had with Sputnik is finding Rust developers that are experts in virtual machines and compiling for low-powered devices. We went a few months at least without having anybody on the team, which was a big setback for Sputnik. But I'm happy to say that we've hired 2 new developers in recent weeks that are 100% focused on Sputnik VM, and they're already starting to make quick progress on new features and whatnot. So many people think that we built the wallet to be a standalone product. But we're not a wallet company, and we're never going to be. We really built Wallet, or what Wallet has turned into, is more of a demo for our software development kit. And we call it Emerald Platform. Emerald Platform consists of a starter pack for deploying smart contracts to the blockchain, an easy-to-use software development kit, and a documentation site. Documentation sounds pretty boring, but in this industry, it's pretty good to have up-to-date documentation. Emerald is essentially a tool set for developers to build dApps and deploy smart contracts. We've got a presentation later today by a couple of the guys that wrote the SDK and all of the tooling around it, so definitely check that out. There's a detailed workshop tomorrow, a 1-hour workshop, so any developers in the room should definitely check that out if they're curious about building dApps on Ethereum Classic. Documentation. We believe the most important thing to be building is not software, but it's a community. And for ETCDEV, that means third-party software developers. And ultimately, developers need really good tooling, and they need better documentation. So to prove our commitment to excellent documentation, we've brought a full-time technical writer onto the team. And we've recently launched a new documentation website, which went live, I think, today. So you can check that stuff out here. I think that's all I had to say there. So what does the future for us look like? We're really establishing ETCDEV as a business that enables other businesses to adopt blockchain technology. We're doing it through providing education, we're providing support, and we're really partnering. We've gotten a lot of feedback from companies that have told us that there's no way they could adopt ETC because there's no built-in support mechanisms for business. Businesses don't want to become blockchain development companies. They need to focus on their core competencies. So with partnering in mind, I'm happy to say that we've been working with the OpenStack Public Cloud Passport team to put the OpenStack Cloud Trials program onto ETC. For those of you that don't know what OpenStack is or are unfamiliar with them, they power, or their software powers, the largest public cloud footprint in the world. It also powers private clouds for companies like CERN, NASA, DreamWorks, Bloomberg, and thousands of other clouds. So this is real business with real problems at real business scale. So business scale is quite scary when you think about the scalability of blockchain technology today. I think the entire community is talking about ways of increasing blockchain performance, through side chains, through lightning networks, through you name it. ETCDEV has been researching ways of increasing blockchain performance for several months now. And we believe in sidechains as being the most achievable method of increasing performance in the form of permissioned and private and semi-public blockchains that can then interact with the main network. We also feel it's the least risky way of rolling out new features, functionality, new consensus mechanisms without affecting the security of the main network. So we believe that really will allow us to experiment. Sidechains is complex. I'm not going to get into it. It's well beyond the scope of my talk, but Splix has some exciting announcements in his talk today, which specifically address sidechains and some of our plans that we'll be getting into later in the year. So please don't miss that. So in building a community, starting immediately, we'll be promoting our Emerald platform. We'll be attending meetups, conferences, getting really active on social media. We want to get Emerald in front of developers, and as many developers as possible, and build a great developer experience by taking feedback from as many dApp developers as we can. In order for ETC to survive long term, we believe one of the components necessary is build a healthy grassroots ecosystem of dApp developers to start putting ETC through its paces, start testing new features and functionality like sidechains as they become available. I'd love to see ETC become a destination for dApp developers. Again, ETH compatibility and developer experiences are kind of recurring themes in my talk. In the name of compatibility, we've proposed a hard fork, which we hope to happen sometime around the end of the year, to enable the Ethereum Byzantium and Constantinople releases. A bunch of opcode changes that we'd like to add. Our challenge is that we can't deliver every protocol level change and opcode change in a really timely fashion. ETCDev is a pretty small team, but for the most part, with lots of input from the community, for the most part, we've been responsible for deploying the actual code. And we just have bandwidth constraints, so we're running behind schedule. We can't keep up, basically. In the name of decentralization, I think it's also not appropriate for a single team to be providing all of those developer resources. So I'd like to make an appeal to the entire community to provide more development resources for protocol level changes and projects focused on compatibility and chain interoperability. I think it's going to be a group effort to be able to keep up with the pace of the industry. I'd love to see a lead developer for the Geth team come out of the community somewhere. Or any kind of compatibility projects be focused on, be driven from the community wherever possible. I know that the ETC cooperative has been rolling out the Peace Relay project, which is excellent. We want to see more of that kind of stuff, more interoperability projects. Oops, that's me again. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say there. In closing, I see a bright future for ETC. We've got a very stable community. It's a small but growing, doubling in size community every year, it seems. We're being very deliberate. We're moving slowly where it makes sense, and we're moving slowly and surely because we're in it for the long run. We just need more people to get involved, whether that's developers, whether that's putting positive words out on social media and Twitter and places like that, or when you all leave this conference, just go home and tell developer friends about us. Oops. I think that's all I had to say. If there's any questions, happy to address them, and if not, feel free to come up and say hi during the conference.
Hello? Okay.
Hello.
I actually have a question.
What?
So, this isn't a pre-set question. I'm not softballing it. You said you were hiring for ETCDev. What are the roles you're hiring for, and how are they going to help with Sputnik Vm, Emerald, all those projects?
Well, we got 2 Rust developers on. We want to have 3 Rust developers on the Sputnik team. It's really just team bandwidth. In the past, we've had a single developer, and there's just a huge bust factor in that. And you can only do one thing at a time, so things just take way too long. Plus, there's also, you need a certain amount of brain trust to be able to solve really complex problems, right, and come up with good ideas.
Yeah, you've got to pass ideas back and forth.
Exactly. And not just internally, with the community, which is why we need more developer input from the community in general. You kind of to keep us honest or just call us out, because we might be wrong, but also just get really proactive. So the other roles that we're looking for is at least 1 more JavaScript developer and a Go developer. But we're looking for lead level people to come on, some experienced people, architecture level people, and it's just, again, more bandwidth, more simultaneous projects, and give us the ability to start doing some research and development rather than just rolling out opcode changes from Ethereum and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so does anyone else have a question? We've got a couple microphones we can run to you. You don't even have to get up. We have, over there.
한국말로 질문해도 될까요?
One sec. We're an international conference.
감사합니다.
I don't hear anything.
최근에 한국에서 그 사이드 체인 관심 되게 많긴 하거든요. 그래서 아까 전에 사이드 체인 얘기를 하셨는데 그 굉장히 많은 회사들이 블록체인 회사들이 그 프로젝트를 만들면서 이더리움 기반으로 그 스마트 컨트랙이라는 강력한 기능 때문에 많이 채택을 했었는데 아무래도 가스비라든지 그 트랜잭션 속도 때문에 그 대안으로서 사이드 체인도 많이 지금 고려를 많이 하고 있거든요. 근데 이더리움 클래식 같은 경우는 그거에 대한 뭔가 좀 대안이라든지 뭐 이렇게 제시할 수 있는 그 기술이 있는지 궁금합니다.
I'm not hearing a translation. The answer is yes. Yep. Yeah, that kind of cut out. I think I get the question. Well, the whole point of sidechains is to provide not just performance, but things like alternative consensus mechanisms. So the question was really, a lot of Korean companies want to adopt blockchain, but they're looking at sidechains as a way to reduce the gas costs, increase performance, things like that. So that's the whole point of sidechains. I think one of the challenges that we have with main networks is that any application you put on the mainnet, it kind of needs to be of a certain value. And if you're not running a valuable job, but it still needs things like immutability and, I don't know, governance or data sovereignty, you might actually just be priced out of the market by trying to put it on the mainnet. So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question. If there's companies that are interested in getting their workloads put onto ETC blockchain, feel free to make introductions and we could talk to them about how we can do that. But that's exactly what sidechains is about. Performance, managing your costs, and more flexible workloads.
Yeah, do we have any other questions?
Hello. What do you mean by alternative consensus mechanisms?
Things like proof of authority,
Got it.
stuff that's not proof of work.
Got it.
Yeah. And in the future, that could be proof of stake once proof of stake methodology is, really well baked. Is that it?
Do we have any other questions? Don't be shy.
There's one at the back.
네, 저는 블록체인 개발자이기도 하면서 그 이더리움 클래식에 대한 그 투자도 제 포트폴리오에서 꽤 많은 차지하고 있는데요. 이더리움 클래식이 그 이더리움과 요즘 핫한 그 EOS 이 세 개의 블록체인에서 이더리움 클래식이 가지는 장점 혹은 어떤 킬링 포인트 같은 게 있으신지 궁금합니다.
So I think the question was, what is the advantage that ETC has over Ethereum and EOS? I believe that was and the gentleman asking is a blockchain developer and an investor in multiple coins, and big investor in ETC apparently. So I think the big advantage is we've got an honest community. And we live up to the principles of fundamental blockchain, which is immutability, sovereignty, and building unstoppable applications and dApps. So we're still trying to find our value proposition. I think the value is that we've got an established network today. If you are building dApps today, I'd say come check out our SDK and see how it compares to other options out there. That's all I can really say.
All right. Anything else? Come on. Somebody else has to have one question.
You didn't get any questions.
I didn't ask for questions.
Damn you.
I don't want them. It's too tough.
It is.
All right. So we're going to take a break. Everybody head out, get some refreshments, stretch your legs, come back here at 10:40, and we're going to have a lot more great talks. Thank you.